Hello and good afternoon, Allied Nation. Welcome to AMN Allied Q&A session. First and foremost, I am your host, Rachel Comer. I'm a manager of recruitment with AMN Healthcare, and I am joined by a very, very special guest speaker. And before I introduce her, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Feel free to drop questions, comments in the chat. I will be going through those as we go through this live event. And you can also check out our AMN Passport app for the latest and hottest jobs we have to offer. And without further ado, let me introduce my special guest speaker today. Hannah, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm a travel physical therapist assistant. I'm originally from Roanoke, Virginia. I've been doing traveling for about 3 years now, which is wild. It's gone by very fast. And I'm currently in Iowa right now on assignment. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So just a little bit more background about Hannah. Hannah has been one of my awesome travelers. Oh my gosh, like been through the ringer and back since February of 2020. And she's seen the cancels of assignment. She's started right back up and has been literally from the East Coast to the West Coast and back and somewhere in between. So this episode is going to cover Travel 101 in the eyes of Hannah and everything that she's been through, because she really nails it as a traveler. Not to, boast ego or anything, but you're really great at what you do.
Thank you.
And another thing, thank you so much for doing what you do. It is PT Appreciation Month. Hannah is a PT, so thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you to all of the other healthcare professionals doing what you do on a daily basis. Man, it's just been nuts. All right, so we're going to get it kicked off with a question for you, Hannah. So when you are first setting out on your travel career, what are some important questions to ask when you're first connecting with recruiters?
Yeah, so when I first kind of started, I was kind of going into it a little bit blind. I had a friend that did travel nursing, so she had kind of talked to me a little bit about some things, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So big questions to ask is, about licensing, about where you need to get licensed, which states, where you're looking to travel, looking at just the differences in doing travel, because it's very different than just having a permanent job, and how everything works. So talking to your recruiter about what that looks like, and then just trying to figure out what the things you need to do to get started so you can take a first assignment, because it can be a little overwhelming to begin with, but if you get someone to talk you through it and stuff, it's not hard at all. It's just getting to know what you need. So yes.
So speaking further on that topic, when you're first getting out there on your very first assignment, well, really any assignment, but the first one always seems to be the most rigorous in terms of the credentialing. So what are items that people can have ready to make the credentialing process a lot smoother?
Yeah, so with most healthcare jobs, you have to have certain like PPD test, flu shot, things like that, making sure those things are up to date, making sure your license is up to date and you have all of that ready. Any history, vaccination records, if you've had a physical recently, to make sure that you're okay to work, making sure that's ready. And yeah, getting your resume ready is also a big thing, making sure you have your references lined up and all of that stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. The resume really makes a big difference. Oh, huge pro tip on the resume. If you guys are wanting to tweak it, make sure that you are listing the actual brick and mortar location of where you worked, the city, the state, and the start month and year, and the end date month and year. And of course, if you're still working there, just write current or present, but for the end date. But that's a huge help when setting up your profile with a recruiter, just so we make sure that we are getting all of that information correct, because we don't want to send over, a shoddy profile with bad information. So thank you for going into that, because credentialing and getting all the stuff together, it's a lot, but it's worth it. And then again, just a reminder, guys, if you have questions or comments for my dear friend Hannah, please feel free to drop them in chat. And you can also visit our AMN Passport app, check out those jobs, get connected with a recruiter. And you can also visit our Instagram page at AMN Allied. All right. So this is like a super great question for you because you're like, you go to Vegas, you put a quarter in the slot machine, and I'm talking about the way you interview. So what are some pointers that you can give about the interview process and just what kind of information you need to share and just overall presence during an interview?
Yeah. So one thing that's different about doing travel interviews is it's mainly over the phone. Occasionally you'll have like a video one, but you're not going there to meet with anybody because it's presumably somewhere away from home. So, it's all over the phone. So the big thing is to be yourself on the phone. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but people can tell if you're not being yourself, and they really just want to get to know you. They've seen your resume, they've liked you up to that point. They're just trying to get to know you a little bit better at that point. So being yourself, and then really highlighting on whatever you have that is your best experience or something that's a little niche that you have. Because even if you're interviewing for a position that maybe you don't have the most experience in, you can always relate back to something you do have experience and helping to round that out to make yourself seem and like you should be a very good candidate for the job. So I think really highlighting on those key things that, maybe you have experience in that other people won't have.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that personality will set you apart from the other competition, even if you're a little lacking in that specific experience. So that's awesome. And always when you're talking with somebody, if you want to sound a little happy, smile while you talk over the phone. It does make a difference.
Definitely.
Because you could be like super angry that day and be like, I'm doing great. Makes a difference. Okay, another hot topic, especially now with inflation and housing cost. How do you find housing for every single assignment?
Yeah, so housing is definitely tricky, especially now, like you said. Really when you first are deciding if you're taking that position, start looking online. You can use Airbnb and Furnish Finders are the apps I normally use. I do know people that have used like Facebook Marketplace. I've never done that, so I don't know how it works. But look around there, see what your options are. Even if it's a place that you may not can afford or it just wouldn't suit your needs. If you're struggling to find a place, reach out to them because you'll be surprised if somebody's into like renting out and stuff, they know everybody else in the area who's also doing that. So if they can't fit your needs, they probably know somebody that may not be on the app or maybe doing it a little bit differently than the way you're looking into, and they can just straight up give you their name and phone number. I mean, I've had that happen before where they're just like, hey, I know this isn't going to work for you, but I have this friend, here's the name and phone number, give them a call and see what works. And, it's worked out. And that's how have found a place to stay. You can also reach out to the people that you interviewed with and just ask them if they know anybody where you're going to be working that may be renting a place or knows somebody too, especially if you're having a hard time finding a place to stay.
Yeah, that's perfect. So it's not necessarily about what's posted on the internet for openings for housing. You can go and do some additional research, ask the facility when you're interviewing, like, how's housing options there? Am I getting myself into trouble? Hold on one second. Life of a recruiter over here. Yikes. Okay. So you want to ask for housing leads if you can't really find any on the website. And then what was the other thing you mentioned? Well, anyway, I had a brain fart, so we'll move on. But some really great tips and tricks there for housing because it really is a hot topic. And just make sure you do your due diligence. A lot of travelers also will be, instead of looking for housing ahead of time, they'll also go to their location and look into a hotel stay. With extended stay hotels, you can get some really great discounts, maybe a free continental breakfast.
And I've done that before too. And if you just call up the place and you tell them what you're there for, there's a lot of times they will definitely cut the rate for you, especially if you're planning on staying for a while. I've found some very nice people to help me with that.
Awesome. Yeah. So see, hotels really aren't that bad. Plus, 24/7 surveillance system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Okay, next question. And again, just a reminder, you can go to our AMN Passport app, or you can visit us at AMN Allied on Instagram. And also, please feel free to drop in questions and comments while we have Hannah parting from her busy schedule. It's super important. We can pick her brain.
Yeah.
And all right, so moving on to the next question. Let's see, what's a good one to ask you? Oh, okay. So when you're getting out and you are traveling, what are your most important items that you like to take with you?
Yeah. So, basic kitchen stuff for sure. Because you never know where you're going to get and what they're going to have. I've been places with some crappy knives, and I've been very happy that I've brought, a couple knives with me, for food. I pack an electric skillet just in case like the pots and pans aren't good.
Right.
Just basic kitchen stuff I think is a must need. Packing clothes for all seasons. You just never know when you get somewhere what the weather is going to be like. And the last thing you want is to go somewhere and you only have shorts and t-shirts and then it gets a little chilly on you. Or it rains a lot and you don't have your raincoat, So even if it's the middle of the summer, pack a couple sweaters, pack a jacket, make sure you have clothes for all seasons, especially since you don't know where you'll be going next from there. You could be going somewhere else that's cold. Other important things that I pack is something that I like to enjoy. So a hobby kind of item. So I pack always books because I love to read. I pack my hiking boots. I have an inflatable kayak and I have a bike because I know if I'm going somewhere and I don't know anybody, I need to be able to do things that bring me happiness because otherwise you could just be sitting there and get kind of lonely. And if you can at least do things that bring you happiness, that will help your mood a lot. So pack fun things. Don't just pack, the necessities. Make sure you pack fun stuff. And then if you have a pet, I have 2 cats and they come along with me, bring those pets along because it's way more fun if you have a pet with you. So, yes.
So see, she can find housing and having 2 cats with her as well. So it can be done. Okay, let's see. I think what other tips and tricks do you have to give travelers that are starting out? Because I know it's been a while for you.
Yeah.
You know what we can talk about? Since it is PT Appreciation Month and we have the awesome PT Compact, can you give a little bit of insight? Your PT Compact eligible, which you use that to your advantage. So can you give a little bit of insight into the PT Compact?
Yeah, so if you're in a state that's with the PT Compact, that makes traveling so much easier. So basically, they go off of your home license as a good faith license for other states. And it's really easy. You go online to their website, you pick out which state that is, of course, part of the compact, and you apply for their license. Now, normally it's somewhere between $50 to like $150, depending on the state, and they're charging for the license. And you normally have to do a jurisprudence exam, but you get your license within 1 to 2 days. Like it comes quickly. And then you don't have to worry about renewing it. You don't have to worry about keeping up continuing education for that because it's all based off your home license. So as long as the state that you're a resident in is in good standing, then you can use that license in that state. And I tell you, it's been a huge lifesaver to me because the amount of states I've gone to that if I would have had to get licensed in, oh my gosh, I don't think I would have been able to keep up with all of the requirements for it at all. So if you are lucky enough to live in one of those states, definitely take advantage of it for traveling. And if you were not lucky enough to do that, try and talk to your recruiter and figure out which states have the most job openings. That way you're picking your license kind of strategically, and you're not just getting a license for a state that you only visit once because they only ever have one job there, Yes.
Yeah, you got to be strategic with it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So here comes the fun part. We're going to get into some of the questions that have come in through chat. Also, I got a little birdie in the ear that said, if you do want to get paired up with a recruiter, you can also go to at AMN Allied on Instagram, and you can drop your info there, and we can get you squared away that way as well. But you can also do it on the AMN Passport app. All right. So first question here from Lindsay. How does orientation work for traveling allied healthcare professionals who are starting on assignment somewhere new?
So, I mean, no matter where you go, it's going to be different. It depends on the facility. But, normally that first day, they kind of give you a run through. They show you where you're at. They show you what's expected of you and stuff like that. But it does hit the ground running pretty fast when you're traveling. You're only there for 13 weeks normally. And so, I mean, they can't spend a lot of time orienting you to everything. But they also, I mean, in most of your job requirements, you're not doing all of the other, bureaucratic stuff that maybe somebody else that works there permanently would be doing. So it's not as much that you have to learn. But yeah, it really depends facility to facility what they have you doing and stuff. So,
Yep. All right, let's see. So yeah, I mean, you have to be ready to go, but they will prep you on some things. Like if it's like a new documentation system that
they're going to show you.
They'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, they'll make sure. They're not going to send you out there not knowing what you're doing. Yes.
Oh, here's a really great question. And you can, okay, so this is from Molly. What do you recommend for a brand new grad as far as for getting started as a travel therapist? Oh my gosh, Molly. Okay. We have an amazing new grad program. You can definitely start a profile on our Passport app, get it started, and you can connect with one of our recruiters about our new grad program, and they'll go into detail about travel and all the goody goodness that you could possibly imagine. But it's really awesome. So yes, thank you, Molly. All right, from Gloria. Okay, we'll get back to you, Gloria. Okay, we're gonna keep these chats live so we can make sure that we get you all squared away. Okay. All right, from Katie, specifically to you, Hannah. You ready?
Okay.
Within your 3 traveling years, how long are you continuously working, and how much time do you take off in between assignments?
So I have gone a lot. I have not taken very many breaks.
No.
I actually just recently took a little break because my parents moved. So I was helping them with moving, and I was talking with Rachel when I was going to do it. And she was like, yeah, you have not taken a break. So I am very much a go-getter, and did not take very many breaks. But that is the great thing about travel is, my parents were moving. They needed help with moving. I was ready for a little break, and I took 2.5 months off, I think, to help them. And, then I was able to get right back in it. I told Rachel what I was doing, and she was there. And when I texted her and was like, hey, I'm ready to start looking for assignments, we jumped right into it and got me one. So, it really depends on what you want to do. I've been pretty much going. It depends on where I'm traveling to. If I take time really in between assignments, there's been a lot of times I end on Friday and I'm starting on Monday.
Across the country.
I've gone multiple states and starting again. But then there's been times where I've taken like a week off to get there and stuff. So it really just depends on what fits for your lifestyle. And that's what's great about travel is it offers that flexibility.
Yeah. So you can take time off in between assignments, and you can plan a really great vacation in between. You always want to leave a little bit of extra buffer time just to make sure all of your credentialing is completed before your next assignment. But yeah, that is the best part about travel is that you're able to do that and, not have to worry about like, oh, what am I going back? It's because it's just, it's all good to go. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. From Hiram, does your company hire medical assistants? We sure do. You can always check out our AMN Passport app for our current open positions. Let's see. I'm going to try to pick a hot topic that might be good. Oh, what have been your favorite places to go to?
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
So I've gone a lot of places, but I would have to say my favorite place that I've gone to was Massachusetts. I worked at one of my favorite facilities I've ever worked at there. Great coworkers, great place to be. That's also where I met my boyfriend. So, I definitely hold that a little special.
um,
So that's my favorite place I've been. I did do assignment in North Carolina, and because I used to live there, it was like going home without actually going home. But it was nice to plan a assignment around getting to see some friends and family that I hadn't seen in a while. So that was a highlight of travel, and I definitely recommend if you have the opportunity to try and do that, you should do that, especially if you've been away for a while. And then, I've traveled cross country and back, and I did it in a car with me and my two cats. And like, that is an experience I will never forget. I am so glad I got the opportunity to do that. I stopped at national parks along the way. I took my time. I saw so many states I would have never seen before if I hadn't done that. And so, like, I would have to say, from all my traveling, getting to do that experience has got to be like up there. That's like the top experience to do. So,
yeah. So traveling, you get paid to go and travel and
yeah.
explore the nation.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, growing up in Virginia, I knew the East Coast. I didn't know anything else. And to get to see the West Coast and see the middle of America, I mean, it's been amazing to see that. Yeah.
it is so cool,
Yeah.
man. All right. So just a reminder, you guys can drop your questions and comments in chat so we can answer. Oh, okay. Molly, you're back again. Hey, Molly. All right. I'm not sure how PT works exactly, but have you taken assignments in different areas, i.e., home health, SNF, acute care, etc., or do you stick to one? What would you recommend? That's a good
So
one.
yeah. So most of mine have been skilled nursing, but currently I'm on assignment. I'm doing skilled nursing and home health, so I'm getting to do a mixture. And this was a really cool one because it gave me experience in an area I've not had experience with. So typically I do go for the ones that I know a little bit more, just because it is easy when I get into a facility. I know exactly what's expected, what to do. It's just really kind of figuring out the building and patients. Otherwise, it's pretty easy for me to just take the ball and get running on it. But I took this one and something I didn't really know, and it's worked out great. I feel confident now if I do another setting like this, to be able to handle home health, that I've got experience in it. So I definitely recommend that if you get the opportunity and someone is okay with you not having experience, that you should take it, because you never know when you'll get the opportunity again, and it might be something you really love. But there's also nothing wrong if you want to stay in that comfort zone too, especially with travel, because it is a different ball game, and stuff. So it's okay to stay in that comfort zone. But yeah, that's what I've done.
Yeah, this was a cool one for you to get that home
Yes.
health experience.
Yeah.
So, and then another good tip, if you're ever wanting to explore different settings, is look in areas that people typically wouldn't travel to and
Hmm.
see what's open there. Because more times than not, they'll be more open to somebody without that specific setting experience, because nobody else wants to go to Iowa in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity. Yes, it might be wintry, the location might not be ideal, but you're getting that experience that you might not necessarily get wanting to stay in, more of those desired metro city areas. And don't forget, contracts are for 13, maybe 26 weeks. And, if you're done with that area, you can go on to your next one. So
Mhm.
there's, again, that flexibility with it, but now you have the ability to slap home health onto your resume
Mhm.
like Hannah can.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
opens up the ball game a little bit more for her, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. Thanks, Hannah, for sharing. From Taylor. What's been your favorite assignment?
Well, I mean, I kind of mentioned some of the places and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when I was in Massachusetts, that was a skilled nursing, a little bit of a long-term acute care setting. And so it just the way I got to work with the patients and like the staff that was there was great. So that has to be my favorite assignment that I was on. And also it didn't hurt. Massachusetts is a really nice area to go to go see. But yeah, I mean, I would have to say for the most part, I've gotten pretty lucky on most of my assignments. That I've enjoyed all of them. When I've come into a building, everyone's been very nice and receptive to me and stuff. So I haven't really had too many bad experiences. It's all been pretty positive. So,
Oh, good, good.
yeah.
So this actually ties in with the next question from James. How are you treated / received by staff that is full time?
Yeah, so for the most part, because they need help. So they are happy when you show up because they need help. They're, a lot has been put on their plate and they're ready for someone to come in and take some of that off. So for the most part, I have been received very well by staff. So I have not had any problems with that.
Yeah. And I mean, don't forget, that people are human and there are going to
Yeah.
be some grouches out there,
Yeah,
but
of course.
all you
Yeah.
can do is just smile and,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
And if there's one grouch in the bunch, I'm sure there's other people that are not, not bad at all. So
And don't forget too, if you do ever have like a bad experience, where, you do have a fellow staff member that is not necessarily being friendly, lean on your recruiter, use them as a venting mechanism and, be that shoulder to cry on, because that's what we're here for. Yes, we love finding you jobs, but yes, we also like to connect and make sure that, mentally you're doing okay. It's important.
Yeah.
Okay. From Leah, touch with recruiter. Okay. Aaliyah, we'll get back, or sorry if I'm pronouncing it. I want to say Aaliyah, but it might be Aaliyah. So apologies. But we'll get back to you on that one. And then just a reminder, guys, again, you can visit our AMN Passport app, get connected with a recruiter, check out our cool jobs, our hot jobs. And then you can also visit us on the Insta at AMN Allied. And now I think it's time that we announce that we're going to have a giveaway. Woohoo! All right. What are we giving away now? Do you know? Do you remember?
A spa package is what I heard.
Spa package. All right. So we are giving away a really awesome spa package. It's a basket full of really relaxing goodies, bubble baths, soaps, all that good stuff. So all you have to do, oh, thanks, Leah. All right. For the giveaway, all you have to do is visit us right on the Instagram at AMN Allied. And what you have to do is drop a message to say, where are you going to go for your next assignment, or where are you planning to go for your next assignment? And that'll enter you into the drawing for the spa package. All right. Hey, Kwana. Oh my gosh. Hi. I got your email. No, just kidding. All right. Okay. From Lainey, this is a really good one. We have 2 more questions and then we'll finish it out for you, Hannah. So from Lainey, how do you meet people while you're on assignment?
Yeah, so that can be the hard part sometimes, because you are going somewhere that you don't know anybody. You obviously can meet people through work, so that is a good way to get to know people and to find out what is going on around the area, like what restaurants, what bars, what activities, kind of things like that. You can look online and do some apps like Bumble BFF or things like that to meet people. But also, I found for me, I go to restaurants and I sit at the bar and I start talking to the bartender or somebody else that's sitting there. And you can make friends that way. And I mean, that's a good way to find out who's local and what places to go. I mean, so it's just really putting yourself out there. And I think that is, something that's pretty common of people that want to do travel is, they're pretty comfortable with putting themselves out there. So, just going and talking to as many people as you can.
Yep.
And that's the best way.
Yeah, there's a trail. There's an app that I use when we go on family vacations called All Trails. And if you're into hiking, you can look up different trails to go to and meet people that way. get those nature types. So that's always fun to use. All right. So last question from Letitia. I'm very nervous about leaving my job that I've been in for 10 years to travel. Let's see. Has there been situations where it took a while for the next assignment? That's a good question. Has it taken a while to find the next assignment?
So when I first started, I started at a terrible time. In 2019, when Medicare made all of their changes and there were like no jobs. So that took a while. And plus I was going to travel with no experience except for just working at a permanent job. So that didn't help either. So it did take a while to find that first assignment. But since I have found the first assignment, I have not had any problems finding a next placement. I do think the big thing is, if you were looking to just travel in a small area, it's going to be harder because there's only going to be so many jobs. One thing, that I've done, and Rachel knows, is I'm pretty much open to go anywhere, which has been very helpful in finding jobs because I've gone all over the place and I'm down for most places. So, maybe broadening where you would be willing to go could help. If you're part of a compact state, having the option to go to all the states that are in the compact, which are 20 something now, maybe almost 30. It's getting a lot of states. That helps. But there can be times when things might be a little bit slower. But that's where having a recruiter, especially one that you feel really comfortable talking with and like talking these things over, really helps, because they can point you in the direction of like, okay, where are the jobs at? Where do you need to be looking and stuff like that? And then trying to figure out what works best with what you want to do. So
those transparent conversations between traveler and recruiter, it's huge. Makes a big difference.
Your recruiter's there to help you.
With you, you're just like, okay, what do you have in all the contacts? So I'm just like, Hannah, you're nuts. So that relationship is a really big deal. And then just to answer your question real quick, Molly, and then we'll close it out. Do you know if OT is going to be getting a compact license? Molly, that is to come in 2023, which is super duper exciting. All right. So we're going to close this out. Hannah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Yay. So exciting. We get to see each other in distant places. And thank you guys so much for joining in on AMN Allied Live today. I really hope this was a great session and you guys learned some really great advice, tips, and tricks from Hannah. She really is a pro at going from place to place, finding housing, nailing the interview. So super appreciative for having you again, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And then just again, a couple reminders, visit our AMN Passport app, get connected with a recruiter. And then you can also visit us on Instagram at AMN Allied. And don't forget, drop your DM into the Instagrams to win that awesome job package. It's that basket with lots of relaxing stuff.
Sounds nice.
And then any other questions that you guys are dropping in chat, we will be sure to answer. But again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.